What's up, everybody? Decided to do something a little different today. Recently, took the hour and a half long trip to a record store, and I actually picked up some vinyl for the first time in a long time that wasn't Beatles related. So I thought I'd show it. Don't know if anybody wants to see it, but what the hell. Just to break up the monotony a little bit. So, first one I picked up was this one here, Madness, from 1983. This is the first Madness album that I've ever bought. But from what I've listened to, I may have to pick up some more. But it's not a bad album, actually. A little commercial, I guess, than some of their other stuff, but overall not too bad. See, the one thing, if it's not Beatles, I'm big into 80s music. I love all the 80s stuff. Next thing I picked up was the Boomtown Rats. Which I think this was the album before A Fine Art of Surfacing. Which this one came out in like 1980 or 1979 actually. And there's the vinyl. Yeah, I was big into all of the new wave punk stuff that came out in the late 70s up to about 83, 84 in that era. Next one I picked up was Ricky Kasich, lead singer of the Cars, his first solo album, Beatitude, which the Cars were still together when this came out. This came out in 1982. And there's the inner sleeve. There's the lyrics. And there's the vinyl. This one too. It's a pretty good album. If you like the Cars, you'll like this album. I'm in the process of trying to find some other ones, like Fireball Zone, stuff like that by him. I have a tendency when I find something I like, I kind of stick with it quite a while. Next one I picked up was Men at Work's second album, Cargo, which hit song off of this, there's quite a few of them, was way overplayed back then, hence the title Overkill, but still not a bad album. It's Men at Work. And I think they only really had 3 albums, Business as Usual being the first one, and then I think Two Hearts was the last one, something like that. But nothing really got played off of that album. At least not where I'm from, anyway. Then, since I picked up Ricky Kasich, I couldn't believe I found this on vinyl. This is kind of a tough one to get. But, bass player of the Cars, Benjamin Orr, had one solo album that I know of. And that was this one, The Lace, which I want to say came out in 1986. Really can't see it. Jacket's got a little ring wear, but beggars can't be choosy when you can't, really find this album. It's just in a generic Electra sleeve. which I thought it was kind of unusual that Ben Orr stayed on the Elektra label, which was the Cars label, but Rick Ocasek went to Geffen for his solo career. You know, you just assume Elektra would keep them all, you know. Next one I picked up, I absolutely love these guys. I'm missing 2 albums by them. I'm in the process of searching them down, which is Bouncing Off the Satellites and Whammy, but it's the B-52s. This is more of like an EP. I want to say this one came out after Wild Planet, which was their second album. I absolutely love the B-52s. Always have. There's the label. Always been a huge fan of them. My wife couldn't stand them, especially the song Rock Lobster. It drove her nuts. But it was so different at the time. In 1979 when their self-titled album came out. And I had it on 8-track. I have it on vinyl. I have it on CD. Next thing I picked up, because I never owned this on anything but an 8-track, was the Eagles' Long Run. One of the few Eagle albums I actually like. You know, towards the end, before hell froze over, and they got back together. But I remember listening to this in the car on 8-track constantly back in the day. This one is a gatefold jacket also. But to tell you the truth, I know a lot of people are going to think this is nuts, but I prefer this over Hotel California. I think Hotel California is just way overplayed. Next one I picked up was Harry Nilsson, Pussycats, with John Lennon, which is also a gatefold. It's the lyrics. The lyrics are in there. And then you turn that page and there's a bunch of pictures. Ringo's on this album, John Lennon, all kinds of people. That's the inner sleeve that came with it. And of course, it's on RCA. Really clean copy too. I've never owned this album till now. I was really happy when I saw this and I picked it up. But I haven't had a chance to listen to this one yet. It's on my list. Next one I picked up was the soundtrack to the movie Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees. The reason I picked this up is I do like some of the versions of the songs on here, you know, by the various artists, especially Frampton. I'm a huge Frampton fan. But this one also has the poster that came with it, which I have another copy of this, but when I bought it, I didn't know that it didn't have a poster with it. But yeah, this one came with the poster. So, and it's a really clean copy. I mean, it's no big deal, but it's nice to have it intact, you know, with everything that came with it. I think I got about 3 more here. This one's another one I had on 8-track. I don't know how many people have ever heard of him, but absolutely love this album. It's Walter Egan's Not Shy. And Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac, they're on this album. There was one hit song off it, Magnet and Steel, which I want to say this was like 1978. And there's the inner sleeve. But yeah, this is a really good album. I really like this one. I was really happy when I found it, because I think it's out on CD, but I never tried to look for it. But I found it on vinyl, so that's good enough for me. Next one, 2 left, I picked up. I'm only needing, I think, 1 more of their albums, and I have them all, by the Canadian group Klaatu. This is Klaatu's Hope. Anybody that knows anything about this band, their first album came out and everybody claimed it was the Beatles, when it came out in 1976. But it turned out they were a Canadian band. And that's the inner sleeve. But these guys were also on Capitol Records. But I have, I think, 4 of their albums. I'm missing Endangered Species. It's the only album by them I do not have. So I'm in the process of trying to hunt that one down. A bunch of these I had on cassette, believe it or not. And then last but not least, it's another 60s band. I don't know how many people listen to it. But it is Iron Butterfly. And the album Metamorphosis. Most people know Iron Butterfly from In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, which is a killer album. But to tell you the truth, all of their stuff is fantastic, I think. This is on the original Yellow Atco label. But if you haven't heard anything other than In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, I recommend this album. Ball is a good album, Iron Butterfly's Ball, which I do have. I even have the original Atco inner advertising sleeve. In fact, there's Iron Butterfly's Ball right there. Along with Cream. There's the backside. But yeah, those are my recent pickups. If for some strange reason anybody out there wants to see my actual vinyl collection, maybe I'll squeeze some of those in between all the Beatles stuff. But this is my first video. It's technically non-Beatles. I appreciate everybody watching. Beatle Brad, I hope you're doing okay. That's about it. So, if you're a subscriber, I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining me on this fabulous journey. If you're not, hit the subscribe button. Guys, leave a comment. And I'll get back to my CD collection right after this video. Thanks, guys. Take care.